Hello, folks. I am here. I have finally made it, y'all. I do apologize for the fact that I could not get on yesterday. I had to work, got called in, and it was pandemonium and they needed me. So I had to cancel yesterday and reschedule for today. I am thankful that you guys came to here to talk about domestic violence. We're going to be discussing domestic violence and how the domestic violence has really caused some generational curses amongst our kids because I'm noticing that it's continued with the children of domestic violence victims. This often affects our kids. So we're going to get into it today. We are going to have fun. I'm going to drop the link sometime in the chat so people can come up because you never know. Your story might inspire someone else. This will get replay value somewhere. So I want everyone to feel comfortable and please don't be disrespectful in the comments. Please respect people and their situation because this is a sensitive topic and I don't want nobody feeling that they have to be ashamed to tell their story. So by all means, I'm going to drop the link sometime. But first, I am a domestic abuse survivor. From the time I was young to the time I was till about 25. Some form had the history of having bad relationships, and my marriage was domestic violence, and my childhood had a lot of domestic and sexual violence. And I feel that it's time for everyone to come out of their shell and probably help someone else. Um, I was abused as I was growing up, and I took a lot of flack for it as I got older, and I didn't know how to manage my anger because I got angry. As a kid, when you grow up and someone is physically abusing you or sexually abusing you, you harbor that within yourself and you feel very low about yourself and you tend to be angry. And the fact that I was a bigger girl and I was developed a whole lot more than most people at that particular age, it just didn't help matters. So I harbored a lot of my issues. I even got so bad that I was cutting myself. Yes, I used to be a cutter. So I can understand when I see young people who don't know how to deal with the stress and the anxiety and how it you just turn that inward and you try to feel like I have control if I'm cutting myself, if I'm plucking my hair out, if I'm doing harm to me, I have control over that. If I'm eating food and don't know when to stop and just eating because you're depressed or you're bored because you're trying to deal with the trauma. A lot of times, as an example, we see a lot of the people that be on the 600-pound life when they go play back their stories. A lot of the stories have some type of abuse. They had an abusive or sexual abuse in within their childhood, and that was also for me. Now I never was 600 pounds, but the fact that this is an example of how people use other vices as a way to deal with the things they have gone through. And I wanted to bring this to light because being in the medical field, you see a lot of anxiety and people with mental health issues, not so much all the time as a medical need, but as a mental health need and being that they don't know how to deal. And I just wanted to give people a platform and share stories of women who have came from it and some people that are still dealing with it. As an adult, I was not much as an adult. As a teenager, I still was keeping the wrong set of boyfriends who like to hit and slap and kick and things don't go their way. It was a fight and stuff. Like, yes, I used to be a fighter and all that, but I still was a female. At the end of the day, I still was a female and I still desired a love from a man. So I took the abuse because I thought that was what love was. I thought if he says something if I said something out of pocket and he didn't like it, you know, and I get backhanded, and my nose, my blood up against the wall. That wasn't a sign of love, but I felt that that was his some kind of some point that was he loved me some type of way because that's what I came from. And unfortunately, my situation is just not by itself. I got married too young, and for 10 years, I suffered abuse mentally, physically, emotionally, and end up having two strokes. I had ended up having two strokes. Both times when I was pregnant, I ended up having my sciatic nerve messed up and my lower back messed up because when I was pregnant, my husband at the time put me through a table when I was pregnant with my younger child, um, over something petty. I couldn't even tell you what the argument was about. It was petty, but he ended up putting me through the table pregnant, and I had to be bed rested afterwards. So a lot of my history comes from domestic, and I was thinking of my mother as I sat in the hospital from the last stroke that I had. I was thinking of my mom and how my mom stayed in a marriage for over 20 years to a guy who was just bad. He didn't love her, he didn't love her children, and that's just what he did. He was very abusive. That's how, into his mind, that's how he showed us love, that by being this abusive. So it does continue the cycle. And then I just was like, I don't want that for my kids. I don't want my girls thinking this is how love is, that this cycle was going to stop with me, and I had to stop it. So I had to make the decision I couldn't just leave. I had to go undercover, whether I had to, you know, sneak out the door at night, two babies in tow, one who has medical issues. So I'm carrying y'all consider it a life support machine or a ventilator. Yes, my daughter had one because she had a trach, and I had to trach. I had her medical records. I took one bag, one big duffel bag for my kids' clothes and half of mine, another bag for medical supplies. And I literally just, I got to go in the middle of the night. Like we were sleeping like we were some slaves because I had to break it and I had to be free. And I also knew that if I stayed, if it came down to it, I would actually probably kill my husband because it was coming down to it was you or it was me. And I couldn't leave my children without a mother because I don't have a mother. And I didn't want them feeling or going through what I went through. And I was determined not to have them continue it. I had to break it. I just did. And when I broke it, I had to start completely over. I had to take the fact that I had to give up my home, the cars, the stuff in the house. I just wanted to be free. I just wanted to have my mind be free, have my soul be at ease. And when I left, when I tell you guys, I have never felt so much at freedom when I left. I have never felt that much freedom till I left. Until I had to start all over again and rebuild from scratch. And it was hard. It was hard. The year that I did leave, everything that could go wrong did go wrong. And I was just like, what is going on? I'm just trying to better my life. That particular year, my child did die in 2015, which is the year that I left. And I had to make the decision to end my marriage that year. My child died 7 months after I had decided to leave. And my ex-husband had put out that I tried to kill her and all this other stuff. That was never true. It was just he was mad at me because I left. And I still wasn't going back. I had to make these decisions because I was so adamant about not having someone beat on my children, to prove to my girls that you don't need for someone to hit you and to beat on you. A person's supposed to love you. They will love you mind, body, and soul. You don't have to hit someone you love. You don't have to verbally abuse someone that you love. And if a person loves you, that's not going to be the love that they show you. That type of love doesn't exist. That is a secret hate or something that they see in you that they're trying to beat. And I had to give this to my daughter, and I had to explain to her, this is how a man's supposed to treat a woman. You're not ugly. Don't let a person tell you, man or woman, that you're ugly because you're dark skinned. don't just let love yourself first, because I had to learn to love myself. Because if I didn't learn that, this situation was going to only get worse. You have to learn to love yourself. As far as ladies, you got to love who you are, whether you're big, you're small, you're medium, too thin, too big. You have to learn to love who you are. Loving who you are is going to make things a lot more easier. You are still going to go through the hard times. You're still going to go through you still got to go get a job. You still have to figure out who's going to watch the kids while you're at work. And, you still have other obligations. You got to worry about housing. You have to start over. I literally left and went to a domestic abuse shelter, where I saw other women who had been through so much worse than I had been through. And I saw these women, they were just down at the bottom. Some coming into the shelter with still broken bones and faces swollen and their babies in tow crying. That's hard as a mother and as a woman to see another woman broken down to that level. And you love them, and I get it. You love them and you want to make it work because you have kids, but oftentimes that is what starts the generational curse of domestic violence. And I have literally seen, how bad things can really get. Some people have been murdered because they stayed. I see all the time in the hospital or in clinics where people are coming, well, not just people, just men, women, and women, because there's men that have domestic violence also. And that is crazy that people think that men do not suffer the same type, because they do. Some women are violent. Some women, the wind turn wrong and they stab you with some scissors, because the mental problem there. You love them, you want to stay, but some men have the same situation. Just because they're a man, don't believe that, just don't think that they don't have, there's something that you're not hitting them. Because some men are generally, they don't want to hit no woman. That's just how they were raised. They weren't raised with that. So when they get a woman that's forceful like that, they kind of say, like, what is this? It's different. And I didn't really understand that men go through that until I went to a domestic abuse shelter. And it turned my world, because I saw other strength from other women and men get up and make it work, because they knew they had to make the life for their children. I oftentimes have looked at my daughter and just, I'll be honest, I pray over her. I pray over my daughter, because I hope what I'm teaching her is right. I'm hoping what I'm teaching her how to be a woman and stuff. Like, I have a mouth, as everyone would know, I have a mouth and stuff. And you go out, that's what's so adamant about respect, because you have a mouth, so I'm adamant about that. But I want her to learn how to be a woman, how to be posed, how to control her actions and her ways. Like my ways, I was so angry growing up. I was going in and out of juvie so many times. They kicked me out the school system, like the district. They was like, you got to go. I don't know where you're going to go, but you can't come to school. No school in the district would take me. They completely would not take me, because I was angry and I didn't understand how to channel that anger into something positive. Now, as an adult, years later, I wish I wasn't doing what I did back then, but these are stepping stones. Everything's a stepping stone. And yes, we're going to have Miss Laquita's going to come. She was at the pool with the kids. So, I'm waiting for her to get done with that. And she said she'll be on soon as she gets done. So I'm still waiting for her. And if you guys don't mind, I don't want to just keep telling you about my life story, but if someone does feel the need that you want to tell your story or tell how you became a survivor from domestic violence, by all means, I'm going to drop the link in the chat. And there's no judgment here. We don't judge here. This is where we don't judge. We are calm. We don't judge nobody. We don't judge what you had to go through. We don't care what you had to do. We just glad that you're here and that you're alive and you're alive to tell about it, because there is a woman or a family somewhere dealing with the loss of their child because they didn't leave a domestic abuse situation. And I just want to let everyone know, if you are getting abused, there are people that are out here to help you. There is a national domestic abuse hotline. They work in all 50 states, including Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands. I do have to please, if you're going through the situation, please document your injuries and please report this stuff to the proper authorities, the police. Because if anything, you want a track record. Because unfortunately, there are many cases in the jail system where women had to kill their abuser, but they still are in prison. Even though they killed someone that was abusing them for years, then one day they just snap and can't take it and they killed their abuser and ended up in prison. So please report any domestic issues. I know you guys love them. I know that you want your family to work. I have to stress this, but this is important as steps in getting you the help and the freedom that you need. In the banner below that I'm showing, the National Abuse Domestic Hotline, it's going to have the number there. Your stuff is all confidential. They'll let you go to wherever you, if we're in one state, all 50 states, so they will tell you where to go. They will help you get to where you got to get to get help to start over. There are programs, there's government funding for this particular type of violence that the women face. So please, if you feel like you're being stalked, you feel like you can't get free, please call the number below that's going across the banner and please get some help. And I just want to thank everyone that came out to support my panel that I'm having because it does mean a lot. I've been trying to constantly tell people we are more than just drama. We have so many stories that could help so many people because our world and our community is suffering because we're so used to keeping everything in house because you know that saying what happened in the house stay in the house. We're so used to that when it comes to pain. You don't want everybody to know, and you're told I just know you just want to run free and you're tired. But this is the time where you have to find the strength so you can continue. Because what about your babies? You don't want your babies having to deal with this as they become older, and it's all constantly going to be someone always going to want to tear you down one way or another. But I am B to B, and I'm telling you, I am a survivor, and I am proud to say I'm a survivor because someone did not survive the same thing I survived. I could have died multiple times. Like I did say, I did have 2 strokes. I've had my hand broken. I've had my leg slammed into a door. I mean, yes, when I tell you I've been through it. I've been through, and if I can make it, I know you can make it. And I want everyone to know that I am so adamant about letting anyone know that. And I don't want anyone judging anyone that's on here for that. So please, I'm going to drop the link in here. Hold on, I think this is my guest. So if I pause, it's because my guest is actually talking to me. She's texting me right now. She's like, I'm on my way. So yes, I will open the panel until my guest is able to arrive. And also have another guest that she said she's going to come. She said just send her the link, and I just did that. So I just want to tell you guys, I am thankful that you guys had come, and I really do appreciate it. So I'm going to drop the link. Yes, I learned how to drop the link. I know my last live, you guys, it took me 17 minutes to do that. I apologize for that. But I did drop the link for you guys and the one to come up. But I do want to also keep stressing the point that domestic violence not only affects heterosexual couples, but it also affects, lesbian and gay couples. There are women who are with other women who are abusive. And it's strikingly that number is going up statistically with same sex relationships. They are still having domestic violence. And I want to thank all who came in the chat. I'm not looking at the chat because I'm trying to talk to someone else and look at the monitor too. It's too much going on. So if I don't see the chat and I can't comment all the way, please forgive me. It is not my intention. I really do appreciate everyone coming out and supporting this. I didn't know how this was gonna go, but I kind of have faith in you guys to come on through because there's some positive people here. So I am excited. So if you want to come up, you can definitely come up. I think I put it in there. Yes, is it? I did. But as I continue, I will guys tell you guys more about my little story of domestic survival. I had to leave to a whole different state. When I did leave, I had to leave the state completely. So when I ran off and with my kids, I went to a different state and I literally had to start over. I had to go get new identification. I had to go get restraining orders. And yes, I literally had to take the steps to go to restraining order because he was livid. And he tried to come and kidnap my youngest twice. So I had to go get a restraining order because he had found out what state I moved to. How, I don't know, but he found out and he came to try to retrieve me and my children. And he tried by kidnapping my youngest child. And I had to fight him because the inner mama bear, like rolled out and I just snapped out and I was just like, not my child. So I I didn't know that much strength was in me until that day. I had to fight for like go in about my child. And I just it shell shocked me because there was something I never thought he would do. And with all that was going on in 2015, I just didn't expect it and it threw me off. But Mama Cub came through. She wasn't feeling that happen to her little cubs. So I am so thankful that I got away because even though I had to start over, I had to regroup, I had to get new job, new identification, new social security numbers, restraining orders, divorce decrees. I mean, it was just like one thing after another. I am not going to sit here and lie and say that leaving was easy and starting over was easy, but it is a necessity. And leaving brought me in touch with who I was. I had to leave because I had to sit still. There was no time for no relationship, just to jump from one relationship to the next relationship. Because if you do that, whatever you have carried from this relationship, you are going to take to the next one. And at this point, I was so determined, I had to sit Laquita down because that's, yes, I said my name. I had to sit me down and say, okay, you got to work on you. You got some stuff you got to work on. You can't be worried about no man, another relationship. You got other stuff you got to do. And I had to learn how to love me. I had to talk to myself in the mirror and tell myself I was beautiful. I had to do that. My mom used to say, look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself you're beautiful. I just couldn't do it as a kid. I just could not do it. Matter of fact, I avoided all mirrors. I avoided them like they was the plague. So I had to learn how to sit me down in front of a mirror, still with a black eye and my nose broke. I had to say, you are beautiful and you are more than this. You're more than this. You have so much to offer than what you're offering now. I was looking so low. I had stopped eating. I had dropped 150 pounds in less than 6 months. And the doctors were worried. And they was like, what's going on? And I couldn't tell them at the time because now they make it so where, your husband or your boyfriend has to leave. If they ask you the question, do you feel safe at home? But at this time, they didn't do that in 2015 where I was at. They would ask him when he was in the room and I'm safe. I'm safe. You lie. You cover bruises. Like you cover the bruises. And it's the funny thing about it was my older daughter had a nurse that came every day to help with her trach, make sure she was okay. And she started noticing different things. And then one day he broke my hand, well, my thumb actually, in the bathroom door. He like slammed it into the bathroom door and it just cracked. And I was in so much pain. I was crying and I was crying and I was crying, but I was trying to hide it from the nurse and my kids. And the nurse was just looked at me and she said, look down at my hand because I was trying to cover it. And her exact words was, he did that to you, didn't he? So as much as I tried to cover it, it didn't work because people see, and people, you think people don't know, but they know and they see you. And she just handed me her keys, something that you're not supposed to do, but I think I'm not going to say her name, but she knows who she is. And I thank you. She handed me her keys and said, go to the hospital and get your hand looked at. That looks broken. And sure enough, my husband at the time, he went to work and she gave me her keys and I went my behind to the hospital. And sure enough, it was broke in two different spots. The way it had cracked was weird. And he had broken it and they had to cast it up. And then I had to have surgery. It was just a lot. And she was like, is this what you want for your daughters? She was like, if I see that and I'm just here for certain hours, what do your children see? And I was just like, mm. And that hit me to my core. What do your children see? Just because your children are young and you think they don't see it, or you take it to the room and you hide bruises with makeup, you think your children see this and they take this in. And sometimes if you stay too long, your children will harbor some type of attitude with you. Like, why did you stay? What you stayed for? We wanted you to go. They needed we was waiting on you to move. Like you don't want that to be said for your children, 15, 10 years down the line, depending on how old your children are, because children remember it. They remember when you smack mommy in the kitchen on Tuesday at 10:15. They supposed to be in the bed and they coming out because they want a snack. You know how children are. They don't always want to go to bed. And they remember that smack. They remember the arguing. They know what sounds of walls sound like. I had to learn this stuff. And these things are not taught among the Black community. A lot of times we hide it. We hide and we go into this hole like we're ashamed, that we have to have this front on, like we have everything all figured out. And that's not true. It's all the same thing for mental health. We used to hide, any mental health, problems that our cousin or our brother had, he in the back room and or in the basement and oh, you know how they are. And they just go about, they stay back there without receiving the necessary mental health that they need. And that always bothered me. And as an adult, I didn't understand what I was doing and I had to stop it. But like I said, I had to, when I sit and I looked at myself in the mirror and I looked like a train wreck and I dropped so much weight and I was just looking bad, child. You even think you lose weight, you be skinny and you're fine and you sexy. No, baby, I was looking like I was a full blown crackhead and it was not cute. And I had to sit and I looked at myself and I was like, ooh, girl, but you beautiful. I love you. You have to learn to love you. Because if you don't learn to love you, baby, ooh, baby, it is so imperative that I kind of push that. You have to learn to love you and set some standards. Because once you love you, baby, you're going to come with standards. Them standards are going to come because you like, hey, you got to love me and I love me. So I have to have standards so I can have standards for my kids. Too many of our children are following into the lines of rawness. And then they're out here running around in the city doing crimes and doing silly stuff that they don't need to be doing because they're hurting inside. You ever seen children that were angry? You didn't know why they were angry? Like, what's going on in the chat? I'm sorry. I just happened to look down and I seen all kind of stuff going on. What's going on in the chat, you guys? Somebody talk to me and stuff. I'm sorry, I got like four things going on. What's going on? Okay. I do have to say, you guys, let's respect folks and stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on in the chat. I can't see what's really going on because I got too many stuff going on. But whatever's going on in that, cannot wait till we get off the panel because this is going to be replayed back. And what we're talking about and what's going on in the chat, I don't think has two different things going on. I don't know what's going on in there, but don't do that because I hate to have to do mods. I don't want to mod nobody up because I was just going to say I got a good set of people that I ain't got a mod that have come with common sense. We ain't got to do that. Now what's going y'all cut this out now. It ain't hey, don't do that. Everybody gonna be all right. It's just chill out. It's gonna be fine. I don't want nobody going through everybody going through some things today. It's on a mission. I want everybody to stay, but please be respectful. to everybody in chat. Whatever's going on, if it ain't got nothing to do with what I'm talking about, by all means, please take it off. Please take it out the chat and wait until you get in somebody else's chat to do that, or make a video on your own, or whatever you're gonna do. But I don't know what's going on down in that chat. Please cut it out. Thank you. I appreciate you. God bless you. Back to what I was saying. I'm sorry, you guys. I just seeing like little stuff go on, but I just want to enforce that this is a safe panel today. Now tomorrow may not be, but today we gonna act right, okay, y'all? And stuff. I just want everybody to get along. We as women, because I'm seeing some of it, and we as women, we don't want tit for tat. It's enough of that going on in the sector, y'all. Please don't do that here and stuff. So I just got a text, and my Laquita is not going to be to make it because she's not going to be done doing what she's doing until later on. But I'm gonna continue to talk. I did drop the chat. I'm going to continue to talk. I just text the other person too. So she will also, Laquita does have an autoimmune disease, and we'll be discussing that on the next live, which should be either next week or the week after next. Because for some reason they have my schedule switched around, and I'm supposed to be on call. So I'm not sure if she's going to get to, we're going to get to that this next week, Friday on the 30th, or it's going to be the following week. But we are going to be covering that because I do suffer from autoimmune disease, lupus. I have SLE lupus. I found out I had SLE lupus like right after I had my daughter, my first child. So we're going to be talking about that. And Lakita does suffer from that. And she already promised she said, we have to get it out. We have to tell people about this because y'all be surprised how many autoimmune diseases actually affect the Black community. It's a lot. And for some reason, it's targeting our people. So we'll get on that in the next live. I just wanted to keep this one about domestic violence and encourage other women in the sector, or not just this sector, but around whoever sees this, whoever this replays. I want you to know you can make it, and it's okay. I know it's hard to start over, but you're going to be all right. I promise you're going to be all right. You're going to cry some tears. There was many a nights I stayed up crying in the bathroom because I didn't want nobody to hear me. So I went in the bathroom and cried till I couldn't cry no more. And after I done cried and sat in the middle of the floor, you got to get up and you got to walk. It's I understand depression is real. Don't stay there. Don't stay there. Please don't stay there. Get on up, and we got to work. Take it one day at a time. I had the blessing of a girl that I helped get a job. She actually went for her interview yesterday about 1 o'clock, and she called me at like 1:30 and said, I got the job. And I was so excited for her because she had literally had just gotten to the shelter, and she was just so broken. And she said, I got the job. I got the job. And she was so excited because it was her first job she ever had in 18 years. And I was so excited for her. So if I don't do nothing else but encourage anyone to step out of their comfort zone and get out and go, that's what I want to do. If I ain't done nothing else in life, I've helped one start the step of becoming independent and having free, because that has to be rather difficult from being not working in 18 years to going to work and having 3 children, and you're dealing with not only your mental health and your physical, but you also have to deal with your children's mental health, and the fact that you just had to unroot them suddenly, and now you're in a shelter with multiple people, multiple attitudes, multiple, you have to go down and eat in the big kitchen, and everything's just not available. Some people I didn't notice, like some children, like weren't getting the necessary food. Like they gone and see all the food and was just excited. And I was just so happy for her that she got a job. And that may seem small to some people, but man, when I tell you, when you have not worked and you have basically had been in the financial prison, because he made it for her to believe she could not make it without. And it happens a lot. It is a way for a man to still regain control over you because they have the financial response, they have all the money. How are you going to move? You ain't got no money. How are you going to take care of your children? How are you going to feed yourself? How are you going to buy the necessary, toiletries? How are you going to do activities? How are you going to get to school? You don't have no car. She didn't even have a license. And I already asked if it was okay for me to tell her story. That was the person that was supposed to come and stuff, but she has orientation, so she couldn't be here. But she gave it okay for me to tell her story. And I'm not going to give anybody's name. I'm going to seal that. I will not do that to her. But she did okay for me to give her story. And I know she's listening, and I just want to tell you, I am so proud of you. I am so proud you have stepped out and you've got a job. And she has never registered her children into school. This is the first time she had to do it. I was happy. I was more than happy to help her. So to see her go. And this is what I mean by we are more than just drama in the sector. I'm talking for the people that's in the sector that's here, that sees, what we do. We can be so much more to our community than just voices. We need to put it into action. And I was so excited for her. Every time I hear someone that I have helped, and I volunteer at this shelter, it takes a big place in my heart. No, I don't get paid for it. No, I find the time. I dig out sometimes somewhere. Because if I can be on YouTube and find the time, I can find the time to go help an actual soul and not just talk about it. But I like to see when they can go and carry on. Now this open door, now she can get her own place. She won't be at the shelter very long. She'll have her own place. It's her first place. And if anybody can ever go back to whenever they got their first place, you were so excited because you're like, I did it on my own. I did it on my own. And yet that made you excited. So imagine for that is to be for a mother to actually be able to sign her own lease. That is amazing and that is awesome. And I love to see it. I'm here for it in there. I am a big talker, but I am the biggest cheerleader on this side of the planet. I'm standing up with signs. I'm screaming up at graduations. That is what I do. And like I said, since I know people have lives going up and everywhere, and it's Saturday, and since my guests had other things they had to do, I already know that you will hear from me some more. I do apologize, but you know how life is. People have children, and we work doubles, and Laquita works with me where we work at. So I understood we was working double. We didn't get off to work till like 1:30 this morning. So I'm surprised she wasn't asleep. But I just want to tell sis, I am so proud of you and continue. I see great things for you, and you're doing whatever you have to do to make it. And I am so proud of you. I am proud of all the sisters that have come from domestic violence and can I step and say, I survived, and you can too. And I appreciate you guys coming, doing this live with me, because I don't want to ramble and I don't want to keep y'all for very long. And since my guests had to cancel last minute, I do not want to hold you because I know you have other places that you would like to be. And I am going to go back and look at the chat to see what's going on and stuff like that. And I appreciate all of you. I appreciate all of you. Hold on, we have a guest. Well, hello.
Hey,
How are you,
Vida.
Miss V?
I'm good. How are you?
I am blessed and highly favored.
That's good. That's good to hear. I just wanted to come and just um, say thank you for sharing your story. Very powerful. I'm going to try not to cry. Um, just thank you. Thank you. Because even in the midst of all the craziness, oh, my dog just shut
Oh,
me down. But even
oh,
in the midst of
you're
all
just
the
fine.
craziness
I'm surprised y'all
that
hear
we
my
live
dog.
in, oh, Lord, hold on.
It's my credo, right?
That
I
you shared something so personal, and even the story that you're sharing of the young woman who was able to get free and get her job and get her place and get her that it just I have chills. It's incredible because I really
Yes, I'm sorry. You were cutting out. I don't know if it's my internet or yours. It might be mine because mine's been playing a little finicky today. Do you hear me okay? I don't think she hears me. Miss V, I cannot hear you anymore. Let me know if y'all can hear her because sometimes my internet's a little weird, so it like blanks out. So can y'all hear her? Hold on, someone else wants to drop the link. Hold on, let me see. Give me 1 second, Tiffany. Give me 1 second. Let me do just that. Let me fix that because I stopped hearing, and I'm not sure why. I can't hear her anymore. Okay, she must have got off and come back in. Anytime you can come back in, Miss V. Um, yeah, you might have to like stroll up, you guys. But Ms. V, I appreciate that. And I was hoping just this my story and other people's stories will help someone else. That is all I want. That's all I want, you guys. Like, yes, the drama's funny and it's cute for a time, but at one point, we as adults, if we don't stop this mess, what about our future? We're just going to have our community destroy themselves. We can't let our community destroy themselves. It's okay, Miss V. At any time, you can also come back up. I'm gonna post the link here in a minute for you. But you guys, I can't stress enough. Um, I can't stress enough. We have to find a stop button somewhere because what about our kids? We're not going to be here forever, you guys. We're just not. And as much as we love to stay here for our children till they old and gray, it's not always going to happen. So when something, let us make sure our kids have something to go forth. Our men carry carry their name carries on, but do you want abuser attached to that? No, we don't want that. You want to say that we're always violent and we don't know how to treat men. Our men don't know how to treat their women, and our women don't know how to treat their men. They're sticking us against each other, and we're in homes that's producing violent children, unstable, causing mental health just so we could stay. I try so hard to tell people this because I want to make sure that you guys hear me. We have to do better for our kids. We have to because when we go, what about our grandbabies? What about the grandkids? Are they going to be fist fighting in the street, throwing gas and knives and shooting each other down like their dogs is bad enough? Other races think we're inadequate and we don't know what we're doing. But it's bad when I see when our own doing it to each other, and that does hurt me. Hello, Stargate. How you doing? I didn't mean to not acknowledge you.
I know. Listen, I know how you run a show. You have to. It's about balancing. It's a balancing act, and you have to let your thought process out before you do other things. So I totally get it. No, don't apologize. You have to get used to running a show, bringing people on the panel, reading the chat. It gets exhausting for me.
Or I need to be an octopus. I'm in here trying to look at the chat and go over here, and then I have other people trying to text, and I'm texting other people at the same time.
Exactly.
I'm
Especially
over here like an octopus over here. I'm like, Lord, I see y'all have 9 lives. These lives.
absolutely.
But how are you doing today?
I'm a fabulous darling in yourself. No, listen, I appreciate you for opening up. I also wanted to go ahead and tell you, like I had to experience the shelter. Like I had to in my first marriage, I had to leave when there was, signs of abuse. I left, went to a shelter, thinking I was gonna, I guess
Mm-hmm.
move on and do better. And I remember being there, and I was like, "F him! I'm gonna go ahead and like tell him to leave. And so I think I had the ability to do that because I believe he realized that he was, he wasn't shit for doing that. So, and I think at the time, where the last incident that had happened, and I realized that it had happened, and I wanted him to own it, own up to that, and he wasn't willing to. So I actually had to leave, and it was like you said, you gotta leave your house. So I couldn't have that mentality was where, well, I'm gonna go back and forth with this dude
Mm-hmm.
to get what I was owed or get what I was worth. I couldn't do that because not only was I involved, my kid was involved too. So if
Right.
it was just me and him, I probably would have did the battle, the mental battle, and see who was gonna like wait each other out the longest. But I didn't have that luxury this time because my kid was involved.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. So I know, and I remember I had to like, I actually was trying to go to a shelter when I was in an argument with somebody, and they only let you in the. I don't want to generalize shelters because there's always this consensus where women should do something, before it escalates or whatever. And when I was actually trying to get help, when I was scared of this argument I had with one fella,
Mm-hmm.
they basically were, I felt like they were like, well, he didn't beat you, so, and we really got to keep these beds open for those type of situations, which I completely understood. But because I just don't think that there's enough services out there to help women in the, like, you're trying to do something before something bad happens. You know what I'm saying?
The prevention.
And the prevention. Thank you, Vita V. Thank you. So, and both
I
times,
got you. I got you.
thank
A
you,
lot of
Vita.
a lot of times with this the shelters, me having volunteered when I'm still continuing, that we get a lot of calls.
Mm.
A
Mhm.
lot of calls. And a lot of the shelters are meant for people with families. Like I say, because there are men that at some of the shelters with their kids.
Right.
So, you know, there's a men shelter for that and their kids, and then on the
Mhm.
opposite ends, because it's a big complex, there's another area for the women and the children. So a lot of these places are out of beds because sometimes we don't get funding. Like
Right.
whatever we have, like during the pandemic, we seen so many people last year with their children in tow. One person came, they kids didn't have no shoes on, they didn't have no shoes on, and you have to meet at a certain place because you can't actually bring them to the shelter because of confidentiality. But you have to meet them somewhere, or somebody from the shelter will go pick them up. Baby came, she didn't have no clothes. Her JBs and her didn't have shoes, nothing. She came with just, please just help. He's going to kill us.
Right.
And a lot of times we don't understand that these shelters are the beds they're trying to keep open for children and mothers with kids. Not
Absolutely.
so much. It's a lot difficult. I've noticed for single people without children to get the help that they need for domestic violence. And I'm trying to find some type of way, find a program, get funding for here where I live at, so where they can get the help too. Because not only do some people are just getting beat that don't have kids, some women are just taking it just to stay there.
Right.
They leave and they come back. They
Right.
leave and they come back
Right.
because they know, like, I love him, but I ain't got nowhere to go, and I really don't want to be here, and I don't know how to start over. And there's nobody to help me because these men, or whoever, or women, because like I said, they're same sex, relationships have alienated them away from their family, which is also in my case. I hadn't talked to my dad in years, and I mean years, over 5,
Right.
because of our marriage. And he was just like, no, you can't go see him, and you don't take the bait. No. And it
Right.
was just, and we see that, and we don't, like, I don't think it's understood where I live, how many of the women that don't have children also face the same abuse, and verbal abuse and emotional abuse. I have found in my situation, a lot of people that I've talked to, that seems to be a lot worse than the physical, because wounds heal. But that mental, you ugly, you fat, you stupid, I can't stand you. Look at you. You can't do nothing right. I can't stand you. All them words, they stick when you hear them too many times. They stick. Every day you hear the same thing. You start believing like, man, maybe I ain't no good.
Right.
Maybe I'm not worthy of love. And this is the type of love that I'm worthy of. And they don't see the strength that they possess. I'm telling you, women, we can have babies, then we can possess a power like no other. Because we can have babies, even if you think you're not able to have a baby, we have possession in us, baby, that can carry forth, especially our black women. We have a fight down in us. And
Right.
that's why I think such that fight comes as far as everything else going on in the world, where black women are becoming the poster for this is how a woman's not supposed to act. But that's a separate, segment. But I was, for example, like we are strong and we will find the strength somewhere. That's why I tell the baby, you got it.
Right.
All it takes is just a few people to show you and give you just open the door and you're going to walk on in that door. Because some people are ready to go. They just need someone help. And that's whether you have kids or if you're a single woman facing, domestic violence, physical violence, emotional and verbal violence, can tear your mind. That's a lot where the mental health situation comes into play. Because like I say, wounds will heal. Some wounds will heal. The scars you can cover up. You can put makeup on it and you think nobody see it. Put a little sunglasses on, get you a different hair wig and fix that to the left or the right.
Right.
And you think that's, going to cover it. But inside that mental and you're emotionally messed up upside. So if you don't get the help for you mentally, that will keep leading you to go back to the same position. And you'll go right back, right back, right back. And you'll do that and you'll look up, it'd be 10 years later, 5 years later, you'll be right still in the same situation because you hoping that they see how much you love them. And they didn't start off like that. No one starts off with getting slapped in the face. Like it doesn't start like that. It comes with a facade at first. It comes, they treat you good. You see what they used to be. And you try to mimic, you're like, oh, they didn't never used to treat me like that. They didn't do that to me. They treated me so good in the beginning. And I just don't know what went wrong. And the reality is it was a facade. When you first meet someone, you don't meet who they really are. You meet their representatives. You
Right.
meet who they want you to meet.
Come on, Vita.
And they
Exactly.
dress it up nice.
Talk about these representatives.
They come with suits on. And if you're a
They look good.
little
They
more
be
ghetto, they come with Air Forces on and Jordans
don't they be smelling good, Vita?
and smelling like black from Kenneth Cole. Yes, they do.
Yes, honey.
And I just do a little joke in there because I know it's a sensitive subject, but it's honesty. It is the real because they come in all forms, and
Yes.
and whatever you like, that form can come in it too, and they'll play it so
Woo.
well. And then when the real them pops out, you're like, that is not them. That can't be who they is. How come I didn't see this before? Then you start feeling like this is my fault because where what did I do? What did I do wrong to get slapped in the face? What did I get wrong to get my head slammed into a wall?
Right.
For me to get, feel like, I'm just somebody's just slut. Because eventually that's what you start feeling like. Because as a woman, we're just going to go get real right quick. Not just
Let's be
because you're
real.
on here. We're going to get real right quick. But as a woman, in my philosophy, vagina don't get wet when you keep beating on it. You're not going to get all the gifts that
Right.
a woman can give you if you slapping her upside her head. Then you want to go slap her at 10 a.m. Then by 7 p.m. you want to sleep with her. You
Mm.
know what I'm saying? It don't work like that. When you could have been just bright the whole time, and now you know what I'm saying. Now you could have had all the luxuries. That's not love with someone slapping you. And
Right.
then 7 months on down the line, they real bold. They just I've met people who've gotten thrown out of moving vehicles
Right. It
and
even
I live to tell about it.
well, I mean, this is the thing, Vita, and I think because of those incidences, it made me sensitive too. So, like, if I know that you're not emotionally present, so like I picked up on those instincts right away. Something's not right before. So I think it heightens your senses in some way. Like, so if you're in or you had to experience a domestic violence situation, it's like how you're always trying to think, how can I make sure I see the signs? What can so this thing in you, it carries on with you for the rest of your life. What are the signs? So like you're always hypersensitive. So any argument that doesn't feel right, I'm trying to nip it in the bud right there. Any argument, like even a disagreement a disagreement is one thing, but an argument, if I feel funny, I'm like, yo, I'm trying to nip this in the bud. And if I don't want to, and so even before arguments, it's like, what is this feeling I'm getting from you, where I don't feel like I know something's wrong. So going through these negative experience and domestic violence experience heightens females' awareness, like nothing you can imagine. And so like something's wrong, even when they're not telling you anything. So awareness, like,
Right. Hey, Miss Carla, how you
hey,
doing?
Carla.
I'm doing well. How you babies doing this evening?
We're
I'm
doing
doing
fabulous,
good.
Carla.
Hey, Vida, I just wanted to stop in for a minute, baby, to just let you know how I'm feeling right now. And I'm just feeling so hopeful, and I'm vibing all over the place, y'all. I try to keep my vibrations high. And man, this is just what I needed this evening.
Isn't it beautiful how the
It's
sectors
wonderful.
we can feel each other, and
We
like
can feel each other, right?
we can
I
feel like
appreciate
something,
it.
and we come together, and
Yes,
so everybody that's here, like we know, even with all our issues and our drama, right? Like
right.
you said earlier, we can come together and act right and do
Yes.
some real
And
building.
I'm feeling the love, y'all. I'm feeling the love. And I just wanted to add that, I love the space that's being created. I'm loving this lane, y'all, because it's gonna help our community.
Absolutely.
And I also wanted to say that to the women who are still in these situations, right? When I went through my domestic violence challenge that I shared with everybody, it was a husband, and I was, it was what it was. But anyway, I was a trained professional. Okay. I
Mm-hmm.
was trained at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center in Glencoe, Georgia. It still exists. I was a marksman, and it happened to me. So don't be afraid. It's not about you. It's about a predator in your life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And like Vida said earlier, they will come to you. They will figure out whatever makes you click, and they
Mm-hmm.
will key in on that, and they
Mhm.
will use that against you. But it's not, it's not about it's not the woman who is flawed. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
If there's a man in that situation, I want the men to know, if you're getting beat and deprivated on a daily basis, talked down to, you don't need that either. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? But these people, they are someone who will key in on whatever insecurity that you have. And like I said, I was a federal employee, I was a marksman, and it still happened to me.
Right.
So just know that we are there for us. We are there for the collective. And baby, you can come to us with anything. Vida, I love what you're doing. I love this lane that you're creating, honey. And your realness, it just comes through. It comes through.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I just was like, okay, it's time for someone to break the whole drama thing. Just for let's get back to what I originally planned was to start a channel where people can come and be free
Yes.
and to discuss
Mm.
topics that were plaguing our community. There's
Right.
not just this topic. There are so many I'm going to cover. Gun violence is one I'm going to cover because it's going around rapid and it's
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. Yeah,
The
it
prison
is.
system is also something I'm going to tackle, and I have a few things out for the women's prison. So I'm going to be getting to a whole bunch of things because there are stories that I have learned from talking to some women that went in behind bars
Mm-hmm.
that man that shook me, made me cry when I got off the phone because I was like, oh God,
Yeah.
I had to pray.
And it is. And for many years, I worked with that community on a federal level. Like I said, I worked for the Department of Justice, but I wasn't a prosecutor. I wasn't a cop, nothing like that. I was doing wraparound services and trying to figure out how communities could better serve, the people in need. And it became unsustainable after a time because I'm not an empath, but I knew that I was going to run out of, my human capabilities, and if I can't be a part of the solution, I'm going to exit stage left because I'm not going to add to the problem, right?
Right.
But I think what you're doing is you're creating a space for us who are older to come in and share resources that we have. And Vita, I'm in awe. I'm in awe of your bravery and your courage. I'm just bowing down right now because I think this is so necessary for young women to hear. And I just want them to know also that the older ones of us in this sector, for men and women, we have resources, we have knowledge that we want to share. And I just appreciate this moment in time.
Yes, I appreciate um, everybody that came up here on the panel to tell a story, to reach out, because I just don't want it to just be me. I'm trying to let's put this thing in action. Like I say, I am trying to figure out a way to
Yeah.
help more of the domestic abuse because there's only like a couple here, and it's not enough. They're full. It's not enough to have some classes out.
It's a process, right? Because
Yes.
you
Oh
were so
Lord,
great.
it's a long process.
Your story is amazing. And the fact that you're still giving back, even though you're still continuing on your path, that's what we do. Black women, what Malcolm said was true. I believe it. We're the most disrespected, but we are also the most resilient and the most creative and the most loving. And that's what I hold on to. And you affirmed that for me tonight. And I want to thank you and thank Star and thank the chat because everybody in the chat really is vibing with you. They was trying to kick off some little crazy stuff. And I don't know if that's the real Stefan in there or not, talking about wigs. But you know what?
That's the real Stefan.
Okay.
He was talking about some wigs. Well, I'm going to go back and look at that and be laughing.
Because we can wear whatever kind of hair we want to wear. It's not about a wig, baby.
Miss Desert Woman, since I'm sorry, Miss Desert Woman, can you go ahead and hit that link because you have some information that we need to get this out. But hit this link so we can go tell these people so we can help some old folks. Because she got some Desert Woman has some good information, for especially those who like own a home. Like this could help out anybody. So if she don't mind, if she has a little time, or she can let me know if she would like to come up and tell us about what she's doing with what she's got going on. Because this is what I love about just me in particular. I'm going to boast for a little bit. Me, I'm like I said earlier, I am a cheerleader for positively when the stuff makes sense and you helping other folks. Just as much as I like watching wrestling and world star fights a couple times, I like out here like positivity. I want to see us make it. We all do. I do the drama, but on the realness for kicks and giggles, that's not fun all the time because it's not producing anything functional. We can't do nothing with some drama from 1942. But baby, I can try to help you pull yourself and love on yourself because you got to love on yourself, y'all. Right. Everybody.
Everybody where they are right now. That's my motto. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have, you don't have to just show up. Just show up. And I'll take you right where you are, and I'll walk with you every step of the way. I promise you.
But Desert Woman says she's at work, but you can drop the information if you wanted to.
I sure will. I'm glad you said that.
Look at us.
I came prepared because I was like, I'm finna help. I'm finna go over here and be like, now, she has a very good thing going on. Now, I'm finding her out how to look for the email that she sent me. Now, I'm going to let everybody know what this Desert Woman had sent me. So, hold on, give me one sec. Who's Miss Tiffany, give me one sec. Let me read this before I click back off. So give me one sec. Stay back there. Don't go nowhere. So we can deal with what's going on out in that chat because I saw a few of it. But we're going to get to that too. Let me get this out first. So Miss Desert Woman has this, says, anyone know about this particular program? This program is known as Section 504 Home Repair Program. This program provides loans to very low income homeowners to repair, improve, or modernize their homes, or grants to elderly.
Vita, you there? Can you hear me, Carla?
Yeah, I can hear you, baby.
Vita, you jumped off or something. We can't hear you.
Do y'all hear me now?
Okay, there
Yeah,
you go. Great.
yeah.
Okay, sorry. Yes, they have loans. I had to flip back over onto the email. I apologize. But they have loans that are for low income homeowners who need to have their um, things upgraded or modernized. Say you have, your mom or your grandmother, and they're still alive, and you're taking care of them. They need a wheelchair ramp, or
Mm-hmm.
you have to have certain modifications in there. There is actually a program called Section 504, and it's for that purpose. And I'm going to flip back over. The maximum loan you get up is 20,000. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Yes.
you.
Okay, 20,000. Let me finish this right quick, Tiffany, and we'll take care of what you got going on. Give me 1 second, okay?
Mhm.
All right. So we also have the loan. The maximum loan is 20,000, but you can get a grant that's worth $7,500. That will
Okay.
help. Anything that will help with that, we need to get on that, because some of you guys still take care of your parents. Some people's parents are still alive, and they need these modifications for their home. Or you're
Yes.
in a home that isn't properly, or have some kind of, you can get this grant or a loan
Yes.
to help you fix the things in your home.
Right.
Because sometimes, we know how life is, and we know how things happen.
Well,
So,
in the area that I'm in, we have the aging in place programs, right? I'm in the DMV, so when you're in the District of Columbia and surrounding areas, you get access to a lot of programming. But I just want to mention, in addition to the homeowner program that you're highlighting for adjustment and changes for your parents or what have you, maybe a young person has had a stroke or something. I don't know. They may need to have a lift chair. They've been providing lift chairs free to people. And the other thing that I want to say for the renters in the DMV where I live, they are paying up back rent, y'all. The federal government money came through. It came through. Now the rent moratorium is up, I think, the end of this month. But
yes, on the
let me tell
30th.
you, okay, girl, let me tell you what they've been doing here. They say they are flush with cash, right? And they've been paying up people's back rent for 12 months and then giving them 2 or 3 months in the future. So it's called the ERAP program. ERAP, Emergency Rental Assistance Program. And you should have been applied by now, because what they did, and the way they're doing it is they're not giving it to the individuals, they're giving it to the landlords.
So they do direct payment there.
They get direct payments, and the process is smooth. You feel me? It's clicking, right? The people that I know of in my community that have benefited from, and they benefited this week, and they rent out. Some of them were 3 months behind, some was 5 months behind, 7 months behind. They paid that joint up, and then the payments that they applied during the process of the pandemic, they gave them that going towards forward rent. You see what I'm saying? So you might have 3 or 4 months forward rent. So that's going to take you up until the holidays and maybe beyond.
Right.
So it's called the ERAP program, Emergency Rental Assistance Program. The counties and the states are flush with federal dollars right now. And most of it is coming up under the Economic Development Agency. So look up eda.gov, because it's not for me really, and my daughters don't need it, but I have people that I love in my community. So I always keep my antenna up. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Please, by all means, drop me an email with that information. So, because I'm gonna do a little slide, probably
I
later
don't know
on.
about these
Brilliant
emails.
out for you.
I don't do the back.
It's gonna be in the description. I only say email, and this only for business, because I don't do mess. If it's about to mess, I don't answer.
That time we only about growth and light. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I will drop it to you. And there's a nationwide website. It's called Find Help, but it's related to the pandemic. It's related to these federal dollars, y'all. So I'm going to drop you that too, Vita. And then
Okay.
I probably send it to, because I don't know about the email situation. I'm not, I don't do it. But I'm gonna make sure I find yours, and then I'll find your star, and I'll probably send it to Binary too, because
Okay.
because of a like mind. And I just want people to know what's going down, because right now they flush with cash, federal dollars. They are flush with it, and they spending it. In my community, they putting the money out there. I'm telling you, I know people that got rent paid for 7 months, and then they got 3 months good on the book. So you can take that money and buy a car. You can buy financial products. If you need to buy life insurance, I mean, these are the things we can do. We can make a move.
That I know that's right. Thank you. And I appreciate that. And for Adam Fitness and Gaming, I appreciate you coming. How are you doing today?
Hey there, ladies. I'm speaking from all the way from England.
Well, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Well, it's taken me a lot of courage to come on here. I wasn't gonna come. I wasn't gonna come on here at first, but I just really wanted to ask a few questions. I am a survivor of domestic abuse, by the way.
Oh, well,
Oh,
thank you for
Thank
coming.
you.
yes.
Yeah. I mean, there's a big stigma out there for men who be abused.
Yes. And it's so real. Because
Absolutely.
It's very real.
Thank
Like
you,
I said,
Adam.
it's really hard for me to come on here, but I feel that me coming here and telling people my experience maybe would help a lot of men out there, because at the end of the day, we're human, right? Men are
Yes,
human. We have
yes.
feelings too, but society makes it seem that men, should be tough, and women, we should be able to dominate women, and we wear the pants in the relationship. But unfortunately, men are
Mm,
victims too.
right.
Yes. And
And
we want
Yes,
to
it
be fully
happens.
human.
It happens.
what
And
I
Vibey is
feel,
creating a space where we can be fully human, male and female, fully human.
yeah,
Yep.
that's right. And what I do feel, right, is that I mean, it's very unlikely. I mean, I was physically abused, right? But I think women are more emotionally abusive. I mean, you're very unlikely. I mean, I'm 6 foot tall. It's very unlikely
Mhm.
for a woman to strangle a man.
Okay, speak
Hmm.
on it. Speak on it, Adam.
So initially, I first met my abuser. It was last year. Um, at the beginning of the relationship, I mean, I did meet her online. We went on a few dates at the beginning. I mean, they call it love bombing, don't they? And at the beginning of the relationship, things were really really good. We'd meet up, we'd hang out, we'd get to know each other.
Excuse me, Adam. Could you
Yeah.
speak up just a little bit? The chat is saying that they can't hear you
Yes. Okay. Is that
Oh,
better?
that's good. That's good.
right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I do apologize for cutting you
No.
off. I
No.
just
No.
want
It's
everyone to
okay.
hear your story.
So I initially met my abuser. I'm going to reiterate what I said online last year on Facebook. I added her and we got speaking. And then we planned to go on a few dates. I got to know her. Um,
Hmm.
Yes.
now in hindsight, I realise it's called love bombing, because I did feel that the relationship was going quite quickly at the
Yes.
beginning. Um,
Uh-huh.
I mean, what I realised that the first day you do meet an abuser is that they try to study you. They're quite crafty.
Yes.
They try to
Hmm.
study your ways, and after a couple of times meeting her, right, she even rushed intimacy with me, right? And I did find that quite weird. And my alarm bells were ringing. I thought to myself, hold on a minute. If she's willing to sleep with me this early, she's probably done this to many men before.
Ah,
So,
Right.
so my gut feeling did say to me, hold on, man, hold your horses. This doesn't feel too right. So after a month after love bombing, I know this sounds weird, quite weird, guys, but I literally started to catch feelings for this girl
yeah.
because she
Well, we were
bombarded
going
me.
through a pandemic too, so we're going to give ourselves a little bit of credit because we were all in isolation, right?
Right, absolutely, yeah, exactly. And I mean, this girl was giving me so much attention. Like, don't get me wrong, I was courting other girls, I was speaking to other women, right? But this one stood out from the crowd, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Hmm.
I don't know from your ladies' experiences, but abusers are charming, you know.
Yes,
Yes.
Facts.
absolutely.
Facts.
And she's a pretty girl. Don't get me wrong. I was like, yo, she really did. She was standing out. No, sorry, excuse my British accent, guys. But
That is, you are doing fine. I
Yes,
understand everything that you're
I do
saying.
too. I do too.
but what it is, right? She's so attractive, very charming, But what they do, they mirror you at the beginning of the relationship, don't they? They
Yes.
start to do things like you like. It's all part of the psychological manipulation.
Yes, absolutely.
But after a few months in, um, that changed. She slowly started to withdraw certain things from me, started to control
Mm.
me, go on my phone, tell me that,
Isolation, isolation.
yeah, isolate me, and she did tell me one thing. And Vita, this goes to you because I wanted to ask you.
Hmm.
Um, she told me growing up for her, right? She was abused growing up. Her real father walked out of her life, so she's suffering from abandonment issues.
Hmm.
Then her mom went with another man, and this man, right, physically abused her, right? He literally strangled her while her
Ugh.
mother would stand there and allow it to happen. So her mother was more like a enabler, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Subservient.
Yeah, so I think her mother was maybe showing signs of codependency.
Hmm.
Yes, absolutely.
Um, and what obviously toxic parents make toxic children, you know?
Yes.
It's a
Yes.
cycle. It's a cycle. Yes,
Yeah.
it
So
is.
my question I want to ask you, Vita, right, before I continue telling you my stories, you said you was abused growing up. Sorry, I
Yes.
didn't quite catch what you said earlier. Did you say that you was abused or was you the abuser?
No, I actually was a bruise growing up. My mother married a guy when I was like 6 months old, and he came with a son, and that was 14. And the father, my mother's ex-husband, he was very abusive. He used to just beat on me specifically
Wow.
because my older sisters, they're light skinned. So, bruises show up if you're light skinned, you know, but not if you're too much. If you're dark skinned or you're brown, they don't really show up. And then I have a spirit he just didn't like the spirit that you cannot keep me down.
Hmm.
I had that.
Wow.
I was just like, I'm not going to let you tear me down. I just had that type of spirit, and he hated it. So he would
Hmm.
beat me with everything and for everything and for every little thing, so much as the drawer fell out of the onto the floor in the kitchen and the cereal got everywhere and I got a beating for that. And I
Wow.
was
So
6.
yeah. So 6. Oh my God, baby, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. But she's speaking about the cycle, y'all. It's a cycle where, she was 6. This baby needed protection. This Vita needed protection. And she didn't get it. So she internalized it more than likely against herself, thinking that this is what normal love is. There's nothing about that situation that is affirming about growth, universal growth, or love. It's not. And so but that's just highlights how brave this woman is for creating this space for others to come
Absolutely.
together. I mean, it is amazing. I mean, and I'm,
Yes, ma'am.
it is amazing that this young woman has created, who has gone through so much. Her story, I mean, it makes me want to cry, but cry tears of joy because I see her creating this opportunity for others, and we need it so much. And thank you, Adam, for coming in. But I will just reiterate it. Just speak up a little bit louder because we're following
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
We're
Sorry. You know
following
what?
you,
I'm gonna try
and we
change
want your
rooms.
voice. We want this
If you bear, if
voice.
you bear with me, I'm gonna try change rooms.
Oh, that's fine. I've been walking, almost been changing to make sure I don't go out of out of sync
I'm
with
gonna try change.
anyone. So I'm definitely feeling you about moving around. So however you're comfortable. This, like I say, this is a no judgment zone. I want to keep saying
Yes,
that we don't
Yeah,
judge
yeah.
here. We don't
First
put
and
people business
foremost,
out and take it nowhere else. Please, you
yeah.
guys, remember that in the chat.
First
yes,
and foremost, I want to say,
yes.
Vita, that you are amazing. You have a lot of strength. That you've been able to address all the trauma that you went through, and you was able to overcome it. Because, I mean, trauma is part of development. We all go through our own independent traumas, right?
Yes,
Right.
yes,
That's what psychologists call the inner child wounds. We all have them.
yes.
But someone that's an abuser or a narcissist, as modern day semantics like to call it, right? um, they just went through a lot more trauma than a normal person. And because, if we don't address this trauma growing up, and if we don't heal from it, we start to carry that like baggage into adulthood.
Yeah,
Yes.
the
Um,
cycle.
You definitely do
Like
that.
Carla says earlier, right? It's a repeated cycle. So my ex-narc or my ex-abuser, she literally grew up being abused.
Yeah.
So it's kind of normalized to her. Like that, she even told me an incident where she was 8 years old and her stepdad literally got her clothes and threw it down the stairs, and he
Mm.
was very angry. And it's petrifying for an adult to witness or experience violence. So imagine a child, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I've got a 2 years old daughter. I mean, my ex. Luckily, my ex is not my baby mum, but I was in another abusive relationship before. Um, but my ex is half Jamaican, right?
Uh-huh.
And she goes, Jamaican people are naturally loud. But
Well, we're all loud.
yeah, I mean, just I don't know where these abusers learn all these manipulation from, like the gaslighting. So
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing she used to do, right? If I
Mhm.
book a date, this is like maybe 5 or 6 months into the relationship. If I booked a date, maybe a week in advance, I'd tell her about it, and then when the day would come, she goes, "Why did you book it for? I never told you to book it."
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
see the key thing she said,
Yeah.
I never,
Yeah.
I, and I have to stress, he made a very good, valid point. The thing that most people don't realize, a lot of the abusers actually are very narcissists. They are very manipulative. They will, it's always, what are you doing to me? Why'd you do
Mm-hmm.
this to me? Why are you leaving? You don't
Right.
love me? I thought you loved me. If you
Yeah.
love me, you stay with me. Like, it's like a smothering, like they have to
It's like
be
also
on you.
fix me, fix me, fix me. And
Right.
it's like a red flag. And but the thing that I've found over the years, and I've made many mistakes. I'm not perfect, y'all. And I don't want to be perfect, because if I'm gonna be perfect, then I'm gonna be off this plane and I ain't ready to go. So I'm not trying to be perfect, but I want to share things that I've learned. And that the ones that get to you the most, it seems like to me, um, are the ones that you know project onto you their crap. And
Right.
that's why boundaries, and that's why we have to talk about boundaries, right? Because you can love someone in your spirit and still release them and keep your
Mhm.
boundaries strong, because this is their entree to us. They know how to trigger us. And you know we just have to say, I'm gonna listen to my gut. This shit don't feel right. It don't feel right. And you can't fix nobody. Nobody can fix anybody. That's
No, you
that's
can't.
one of the basics. You can't fix nobody. Either they vibing with you, or they on your frequency, or they not. And I just want to encourage, us, and I include myself, because I'm still out here in the game. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to encourage us to trust our gut. And if you have a pet, they come around your pet, trust your pet, because dogs and pets, they tell the truth about these ghouls that are among us. But the cycle is real. It's
Yeah.
it's generational, right?
I
It's
want to ask you,
generational.
ladies, are you familiar with the games that these narcissists play?
Oh,
They're trying,
absolutely.
they're like they're
Some of
triangulate,
them, not all of them, because they're constantly evolving. Not all
like
of
the
them.
It is. Some of them
triangulation,
groom you. They groom you.
like the triangulation. I mean,
Mhm.
my ex abuser, she literally hoovered back her ex boyfriend, so she formed a love triangle.
Adam, can you speak up a little bit, baby?
Yeah. So
We
basically,
want to
my
hear
ex,
you.
she triangulated me with her ex partner. That's what they do. They hoover
Wow.
Oh.
back their ex partners.
Mhm.
Because she's discarded me once or twice and she's tried to come back to me again. And the thing is, though, the most sickening thing they do is, right, they blame it all on you. They never take
Yes.
accountability. They never
Yes.
apologize.
Yes.
My ex abuser never apologized for anything, ever.
Right.
Right.
I mean, some abusers do, come with this fake apology, but my ex, abuser never apologized to me ever. And she'd
Hey,
say, it's all
Adam,
my
let me
fault.
ask you a question, if I
Yeah.
may. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm not going to be able to be on here very much longer. But I want to ask you a question. So, Vida shared what helped her and how she came out. How did you come out of your situation? It's going to be instructive.
I'm going to be
So,
blunt out straight, right?
yeah, be honest as you can, please.
While I was in the whole mess, I was very suicidal. I didn't know what was quite happening. I knew it wasn't quite right what I was in. I called out to a few friends, and they mentioned a word to me, a term called trauma bonding. And,
What was it? What's the word?
Trauma bonding.
Trauma bonding.
Okay. Yes. Oh, so that's like the syndrome. What's the syndrome, y'all? Vina, what's the syndrome?
I'm sorry. I know what you're saying right now. I'm sorry. I was moving from room to room.
The girl.
Misery loves company syndrome.
No, wait a minute. No, it's the girl that was
Stockholm syndrome.
Stockholm. Thank you.
Yes,
baby.
Stockholm.
Okay, there we go.
So
I just want to keep everybody on the same level.
Synonymous to Stockholm. Like basically, I knew she was no good. But I couldn't leave because of the manipulation. I was caught in that cognitive dissonance at the beginning of the relationship. I thought she was this great person. So I thought this great person would come back, but it was a mask. It was a facade. It was fake. It was bullshit.
Yeah.
So I went to therapy, and therapy, man, you ladies out there, and especially you men, there's no shame on seeking professional help. Okay?
Thank you.
That
you.
is good,
are
and I
in
applaud
an
you.
abusive relationship. It's not the end of the world, right? And there is help out there if you need it. Okay? So
And the thing of it is, this is not about you. It's about the perpetrator. You just trying to, keep yourself alive and above water and thriving. It's not. It's about them. It's not about you. So it's good to come in and check in and get help.
Yeah, I went to therapy, and I paid for my private therapy with a psychologist. She's been in the field of domestic abuse for over 35 years, and she told me that those people that go through a lot of childhood trauma and abuse, they're more likely to develop cluster B personality disorders. Have you heard of that, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
That is very, very true.
Explanation. What's that?
Sorry, can you repeat that, please?
Can you tell me what that is? Cluster what?
Yeah, cluster B personality disorders. So there's 3 clusters, A, B, and C. But what, if I'm not correct, if I'm not mistaken, what they've found out is that those people that go through a lot of childhood abuse and neglect are 4 times more likely to develop a cluster B personality disorder. Either, I mean, there's a few. There's borderline personality disorder, there's narcissistic personality disorder, there's histrionic, and there's antisocial. Now, I haven't got enough time to go through each one of them.
Okay. I'll look it up. I'll do my Googles.
Abuse. So, the same. I know this is probably going to become like a cliche, but they say, hurt people hurt people.
Yes.
Healed people heal people.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That comes when I was saying that I self-internalized all the pain, because along with the physical abuse, the son was being sexually abusive to me and my older sister. So I had the double whammy of it. And then my mom was sick and constantly in the hospital. So we were left with this guy.
Yeah, you had no protection.
Right. She wasn't there to protect me. And it wasn't because it was a choice. It was just the way that just the way it was at that time.
Yeah.
And back in this time, I remember it was like the 90s. So back in this time, there wasn't like, how you can go to school nowadays, you can tell a teacher and they will call someone, or they'll keep in the office and get you the help that you need. Back then, telling someone's hurting me at home was just not fair. Like, you couldn't just go to school and just say that, because they had the fear. And then it was put into my mind constantly, well, if you tell anyone, they're going to take you away from your mother, and that'll just kill your mother. And I didn't want to be away from my mother.
And so this is the tactics that they use, right? They use those tactics, which are despicable, Vida. They're despicable tactics. You would never use that against your children. And this is why I talk so much about boundaries, is because what boundaries do is when your gut is telling you this is a red flag, get away from this, whatever. And we ignore it because we want love, because love is part of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We are human beings. We're humans. So it's natural for us to want love, acceptance, and to grow in that thing, right? But we're not responsible for what the crap these people do to us as children. We're not responsible, all right? And so your mom was in a situation she couldn't protect you guys. Not to say that she wouldn't have. She would have. Because, when a baby comes out of your body, and women, y'all know this. And men know this too. My son-in-law, he is more emotive than my daughter is. And I thank God for that blessing. But I just want to just emphasize the fact that, as children, we just got here. We're not responsible for what happened to us. And
Right.
we need to come in and dump some stuff off and get affirmation. We just need to create more opportunities for people to do that, because we are humanity, and humanity is golden. It is the highest essence. And so whatever we have to do to create that affirmation for others and to let them know you can free yourself. Like Vita is being so free with us tonight. My cheeks are like hot. My cheeks are hot, y'all. I see Tiffany came in the room, but I'm just so grateful for Adam and Star to come in
You're
here,
welcome, baby.
and the chat. The chat is popping.
Like, Carla, I wanted to add something, if you don't mind. Talking,
Yes.
you just recently spoke about change. How can someone change if they don't think they've got a problem? The first step to a solution is acknowledgement. You have to acknowledge
Yes.
you have an issue. These
Yes.
abusers, their behavior is so entrenched. They don't
Yes.
believe they have an issue. So, the only person
Well,
you can change is yourself.
yes, absolutely. And that is coming with the self-knowledge that Vita was talking about, sitting in the front of the mirror with the black eye, with the broken thumb. I mean, all of that. And still saying to herself, you are worthy. You don't deserve this. You can do better. See, we all have to get to that place. And that's why I say, I can love you. I can love you and wish the best for you, but my boundaries are going to remain strong because I have done the inner work. And the inner work, it may just be breathing. It may be going out at 2 o'clock in the morning and looking up at the sky, but you have to ground yourself in yourself. You feel me? You have
Hmm.
Absolutely.
you have to do these affirming things, and all
You
of
have to
these
love
things
yourself.
are free. They're free. There's no cost involved. You see what I'm saying? And
Yes.
I throw off. Once I ground myself in my daily meditations, my daily walks, my exercise, my diet, once I ground myself, and this is coming from, 50, 50 years in the game or more, you know, I just want to let you know that the shit that you need is already in you. You just got to release it. And then you got to trust your intuition to know that you're connected and you have a purpose. And that purpose is love. It's love. Of the three greatest things in life, it's all about love. And so once you connect, baby, you're going to release your power. And that low vibrational bullshit is gonna pass you by. Vita did that, and she did that looking in the mirror with a black eye. Okay, so talk to me now about that, because I can get real with. I can get real street. I try not to, but
You stuck in
that's
there.
that's me. That's me too. So I'm saying, you know, I appreciate this woman, and Adam, I appreciate you for coming in. With your lens, because we need this. And what I love about it is that it don't cost a damn thing. It don't cost nothing. It just costs
Right.
somebody being truthful with you and loving you right where you are. You ain't got to change a damn thing. I'll walk with you
Yes.
to change it.
You got to
Yeah, a
know
lot
your
of that
worth.
has to. Tiffany, I'll give you just 1 second, and I'm gonna let you talk in just 1 second. I know you was back in the back room and you came back.
And I'm gonna drop off, y'all. I'm gonna drop off and listen.
Okay, thank
Thank you,
you.
Adam. Thank you,
Love
Star. And
you,
thank you, Tiffany.
Carla.
Thank you,
Love you,
Carla.
baby.
Thank you. You,
I
you're
appreciate it.
welcome.
Adam, I love Adam. He said, I love you, Carla.
I have the part that I have learned. It took so. I'm not telling y'all this was an overnight thing. The loving yourself. No, I had to love y'all. Love yourself when you're ugly, when your hair sitting on top of your head and turning to the left. You have to learn you, because once you learn who you are and you tap into that, it'll, like I said before, it will give you standards. So in that wanting to do better. Like, I'm more than just this. I'm better than this. I deserve more than this. I didn't live life, my hard childhood and teenage years and early adulthood. I didn't get it till I was 26 is when I had to read, because before that I was cutting on myself. Like no one told me that was wrong. No one knew I did it because I hid it. And it wasn't out. Like I didn't know other black people. I thought it, to be honest, please don't take this in the wrong way. I thought it was just something white people did
White people, exactly.
because nobody was talking about black women and black girls were cutting themselves. I just cut myself on the inside of my thigh. Yes, I'm going to tell you, buddy, because yes, this happens. I was cutting places where nobody would see. I would take rubber bands and pop them. So I want to feel the pain of it because I felt that was all I had. I could control that. I can't control if you're storming at me and you're finna attack me. Now I gotta be defense or I'm gonna cower down. Is what I call cower down. Because mind you, I have to do say that my stepfather and them, they were tall. They were 6'2", and the son was a football player and he played, high school football, and he was tall and violent. And it was difficult as you're a child. So when you're a teenager, you're doing, and I did this for years. It wasn't until I got 26 and I was sitting in the shelter and I was looking crazy and I was crying and I couldn't stop crying. It just all came out because you hold it, because you try to put the front on that this is not happening. I am not one of these people who take a hand whooping. That's not me. That's not who I am. But in reality, it is who you are. You can't change anyone. That's not your job to change anyone. You were not in a relationship to change anyone. You're in a relationship to love them to where they at. You're help me to help them be who they are so they be better. But if they already come to you broken, you can't put the pieces back together because you don't know where in their life they started to be broken. Because if you miss a piece, it all just crumbles and they're back to being who they've always been. Everybody has to take responsibility for their own behavior. And I had to learn that. Like his behavior had nothing to do with you. This was a power trip. This was, I have control and I need control and I'm going to stay in that control one or until I break you. Because a lot of people don't really, abusers they have to break you of your own mind. They have to break you of your own will. So when you're going and you meet these men and they put on the facade, or as we find out, women, they put on the facade and they come with about good, I want to say 6 to 7 months, they start to tweak out. You'll start seeing it. And little by little by little. It's a shut up. Who are you talking to? It's one of those. And then it starts to escalate from one of there. And you don't know how it escalated, you don't know how it got there to where y'all fist fighting and throwing gas, but you get there and you get tired. Because eventually somebody's gonna get tired and they're like, I don't want to fight with you no more. Or you become numb. You become numb to what they're doing. And you don't realize you're becoming numb because you don't react no more. That's how you know you're becoming numb. When you don't react and it doesn't bother you. You're just like, okay, they're hollering, they're screaming, they're finna throw a tantrum. You know it's coming, but you're bracing yourself for the hit, or you're bracing yourself for the verbal attack that's gonna come your way, but you've numbed yourself. It's no longer a surprise. You've become comfortable and content with that. And I wanted to help to tell the, women and other people getting abused. I'm sorry, choking some water. That you have to kind of notice it. Like, dang, why are you talking to me like that? Like, wait a minute, hold on. Why are you talking? What happened? And sometimes, if you got the ones that have a mental disorder added on to that type of abuse, there's nothing you can say. Sometimes it just pays not to say nothing because the wind can turn wrong and they can slap you in the face, and it don't even be you. It's because it's a mental issue, and that does not take that as a way of an excuse. But sometimes you just become like, I don't want to argue. You get to that point where I don't want to argue, whatever you say, whatever, just stop talking. That's how you feel. And I don't want to go on and on without giving Tiffany a chance to say what she needs to say. Please, Tiffany, welcome to the panel. How are you doing tonight?
Damn, Vita. Thank you for letting me on. Shit.
I'm sorry, it took so long.
No, but damn. Peace Star. Shout out to Adam from the
Hey,
UK.
Tiffany.
Hi,
Hey,
Tiffany.
hello. Damn, Vita. Goddamn. I see why, let me see your transcript. Told me to stand down and shut the fuck up. That's some shit you talking about. I was ready to tap on and get on the pure garbage, which I still am.
Oh
Ready
Lord.
the garbage. But no, no, god damn it.
I saw you apologize in the chat room, Tiff. So we forgive you.
God damn it.
Yeah, well, yeah. Sometimes, honey, sometimes you have to understand. Like this is. I've learned this. This is so funny. And I've learned this. Like, I really was kind of mad earlier. Y'all don't understand. Like, literally 15 minutes before I came on, I was kind of mad because I was getting like certain emails about the video that I made with the channel lineup. And I was just like, you guys chill, chill, chill. Everybody's going to get a spot. I promise you. It was not intentional. I didn't intentionally leave nobody out, but two people. And the two people, everybody knows I don't like. So it wasn't like I was doing it intentionally. Everybody's going to get their, I promise everybody. I just going to say, everybody in the sector, I promise y'all will be hosted on there. If I missed you this time, it was not intentional. I don't have no bad anything with nobody because I don't do that. I don't have a side. I'm on the Lord's side. I don't know what nobody's doing. I'm trying to just get the out there that we have other things to offer other than drama. And y'all the men have so much more to offer than just the drama and the craziness and all
Absolutely.
that. And I just that was why I did it because I seen where it was going. And I took what T Free said and I heard what she said. Like you have to be more if you're gonna improve, your sub count, if that's what you want to do, if you're on here for YouTube for that reason. I was just on YouTube generally because I want to see us do better. Like people have to learn how to accept apologies and just it's gonna be all right.
Right.
Sometimes I apologize. I had to apologize go because I was like, you were in there. He was like, no, I'm not. And I'm like, yes, you is. And he's like, no, I'm not. And I'm like, I had to go back and look, and he was right. I thought I put him behind the rail, and he wasn't there. So, Ghost, if you hear me, somebody please tell that man I'm gonna put him in the next batch because that was not intentional. I tried to explain
Absolutely.
it earlier. That was what that was about. That's I was in that panel, but I have learned that anybody have an issue, just drop it in my inbox. We don't got to go panel to panel. We don't got to do it. Just drop it in my email. I put it in every description. Just drop it in my email and tell me how you feel. I'm not gonna get off internet and go on and do a video rant on you. No, I'm not. We gonna settle that thing out and we gonna be all right. And it's
Absolutely.
okay. Don't harbor nothing, honey. This is YouTube. Ain't nothing wrong with having a little fret if y'all have a friction, as long as y'all can settle that friction out, because we is all adults. And
Okay.
I want everybody to remember we as adults and we have to be an example for other people. Because I notice when one person goes with the drama, a whole lot of folks go with the drama with them. But if you kind of keep it narrowed and focused, like I try to do, I poke fun at some of it, but in general, I don't want this channel to be drama filled. We have personalized channels for that. There's plenty of people you can go to that. I just want folks to get along, and I'm not rapping at you, Tiffany,
Right.
at nothing like that. Please don't think that's
I
not what I do.
don't be there. I don't. And yeah, this your shit and you let me on. Thank you. But I did tap in to fucking drag. Let me see your transcripts.
I
Okay.
know you did. Because I went back and I looked and I said, the Lord was like, just let everybody else go. Just give her
It's
time to
hard to
cool
switch
off.
up. It's hard to switch up, right, Tiff?
Oh, I'm here for the fuck shit. No, beat it make it hard. I'm like, oh my God. She's talking about like real life stuff. It sucks. Garbage.
Yeah, right. There's that yard because people don't realize a lot of this beef stuff. It's just petty. I do think some of it is scripted, but a lot of it's petty. And
Even
me,
when
I just
you're in the chat room. Yeah, even when you're in the chat room, sometimes you don't even listen to a conversation.
you be looking at the chat, right? You like, now what they say? Oh no, they didn't say that to me.
The
Let me
chat
go
room,
ahead and give them this cuss out quick. I
yeah,
understand.
the chat room has sometimes they'll have a completely different discussion from what's going on in the panel. So the chat room has a personality all of its own, and sometimes it's hard to adjust. So I get it, Tiff.
Yep. Shout out to the chat room.
Adam, is this your first time like in this? Do you know about the sector or Adam, or have you listened to anybody besides Vita V, or is this your first time coming on someone's platform?
So basically, I was literally just browsing for YouTube, and I just come across your podcast. So yeah, it's
Oh,
my first
okay.
time.
Oh, I'm hitting the algorithm. Look at here, Lord. I found me a niche. I am so glad you came in. I've never had anyone call and from the UK. And
I,
it is an honor. Thank you for sharing your story
you've
because
Yeah,
been
it's
one of
fine.
the most
I didn't think I'd get any men to admit it online. And
Yeah, no,
I'm thankful that you came in and shared your story with us and the people that's going to hear this, because you actually are going to inspire another person, another man,
absolutely.
because you are right. Women's abuse, I've noticed, is very verbal and emotional. And because we are tactful human beings, so we know how to get under your skin when we need to. And I understand, and I can say honestly, I am very happy that you came and joined me.
no, you're welcome, and I'm happy that I'm able to come on such a platform to share my experiences, and I really do hope that people can learn from me, because here in England, right, there's, I mean, it is a fact that men do abuse women than women abuse men, and there's not much support services out there for men, right?
Mm.
Right.
They do exist, but women get all the help and support that they need, which something needs to be done about that. And I'm hoping in the future that they start to open up more like support centers and just more help for men. You know, because they say here in the UK, 40% of men get abused, and those are reported cases. So imagine all
Oh
the
wow.
unreported cases. You know?
Yeah, I didn't know it was that. I didn't know that was that high in the UK. That's high, high, that's
Yeah,
really high,
yeah,
and that's just the reported.
yeah. It's pretty high, especially with when all this COVID and lockdowns happening. It's kind of rampant. So
Yes, I have noticed, even as I'm in the medical field, so I have noticed that there is a lot of domestics that go on in, like, where I live, in the part of the United States where I live at, because I live in the South. I have noticed in the summertime we have get hit with a lot of domestics.
Mm.
I
wow,
mean, a lot of domestics, and it's becoming a nasty trend. It's like the when the summer comes here, we know that we're going to get a lot of gun violence. We know we're going to get a lot of domestics. Seem to be the two main things. And now with COVID, it's difficult because you have to shift your mind from just making sure that this one individual is getting help if they're getting abused, and how do you go about it, because you have to be tactful, because you don't want to ask the victim anything in front of their abuser, because that's going to, like, implicate them being abused, because they're going to leave there, that the person that's being abused is going to say, no, I'm fine, I just want to go home. And then when they get home, they're back 3 hours later because the person, their abuser, has broken their arm because they said something they shouldn't have said. So I noticed that there's a bit in the nurses know, we like kind of, we dread it because we know what we see. And with COVID going on, we also have to shift our attention to, the COVID patients too. And, they still can't see their families. We still have to be able to communicate with them, but their families still can't go inside their rooms. It's still a very much a lockdown facility. Part of the hospital is locked down just for that. Beds are filling up. You have that.
we don't.
And it's difficult. But I want to thank everybody for coming out to my panel. I'm going to probably end this right now. My daughter is coming back from her swimming thing.
Yay.
Oh, what time is it there in the US? Well,
It
it's
is
literally 1 o'clock in the
7:17.
morning.
It's like
Right,
1 o'clock there, right? In the morning.
yeah, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Just had my cup of tea. I'm gonna end up getting into bed in a
Oh,
minute.
cup of tea. Adam has his cup of tea vitamin.
Oh,
Yeah, I've had my
I
cuppa.
love it. But thank you for
well,
hanging out.
yeah.
And
Thank you
we all
for.
know each other. So we've been in the sector, some of us for years, and then some of us for a few months, and we all come together and have serious conversations sometimes. So we appreciate you stopping by.
I
No, thank
sure
you. Thank you
do,
for
and
having
I
me.
would love. You're more than
Last
welcome to
question.
come by.
Do you do this frequently, like once a week or?
Um, Actually, I will be starting. This is the first time I've done in a while, but I'll be starting next week. If I'm not, I believe I'm on call next week. The week after that, starting August, I'll be doing this like in every
And what is the
Saturday.
best? Where is the best way to contact you? Have you guys got
Do
Yes,
social
you
if
know
you
media
how
look
to
or?
sub? Do you know how to subscribe to
Yeah,
Vita
yeah, yeah.
V's? Yeah, so
and
if you subscribe to her channel, it will give you notifications to when
yes,
she
Brilliant.
goes
and
live.
my email's also in the description. Every video that I do, I leave my email down there.
Okay.
And
Okay.
feel free
Brilliant.
if you have any questions, or you want to just have a private conversation where it's not out in public, feel free to hit my
Yeah,
email
I
and
will
let me
do.
know.
Yeah, definitely, I will do.
So I do wish you a good night because over
Thank
there it's
you.
Yeah, it's
nighttime.
going.
So
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
bedtime for
quite
Adam
literally.
with
Yeah,
his cup of tea.
yeah.
so
I do hope in the future one day. I hope it's on your bucket list that you guys come down to England, have some fish and chips and a cup of tea.
Absolutely.
right as we go, this little cold thing on. No, I think about I like. Oh, I used to love to travel. So yeah,
Yeah, come on,
that might
man.
be a plan.
Come on, man.
But yet again, thank you guys for coming. I know Be Accountable has something going on tonight. I
Yes.
also know that if you guys watch Lennon, he's over there doing his live right now. I'm just shouting out who's ever that I think is on right now. I'm not sure who's on because I'm not on that
Right.
particular channel, so I can't really see because I have notifications on that channel. But
Yeah.
feel free to go out and look into, different people's channels and try to support what best fits your mental I say in your enjoyment. It's okay to have entertainment, but please feed your mind with some educational, something that's going to serve your soul
Right.
and give you a good feel. So I would like to thank again. I thank you to Adam, Carla, Tiffany, Star, Miss V. I appreciate you guys coming in. I appreciate to my survivor that let me share her story online with you guys. I appreciate that. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next panel, which I believe I'm on call next week. So it will be the week after the first week in August.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you, Stargate, and thank you, V, for
Oh,
this week.
thank you, Adam.
No,
Do
you're welcome.
you have a channel? Do we have time to ask him if he has a channel?
Yes, we do.
Yeah,
Yes. Do you have
well,
a
yeah,
channel?
I am a fitness coach. So if you go on YouTube and type in Adam Fitness and Gaming, you
Adam
can find
Fitness.
myself.
Oh, so just like it is in the title,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Adam
yeah.
Fitness
I
and
literally commented
Training.
on the YouTube channel chat room as well, so you can easily find me on there.
Okay.
Okay.
No problem. We will get that out and also put you in the lineup now. I have some, and I
Yeah.
can put you in the lineup. See how
Yeah.
many people we can come on in and educate.
Spotlight's on me. Thank
He's
you.
in London, Rodney.
Sorry.
Oh,
You're in
she was talking to
London,
someone
right?
in the chat.
Oh right. Oh.
Because
Yes,
we're
but
in
we're
the
definitely going to
chat
support your channel.
room. Right.
Well,
Because I
thank you.
love, gaming. Love. Yes, I'm a little bit of a gamer too. My daughter, she's
Yeah.
a gamer. So we will
Yeah.
definitely get your channel out there and try to give you all the support that I can give you. I'm definitely going to sub. You guys go ahead and sub. If y'all haven't seen the channel lineup, just go over there to my other video on this channel and take a look at it. This is just the first batch of people. My subscription list is long and I couldn't get everybody this time and I'm doing it from my phone. So please bear with me. It's every month we're gonna put new people on it. We're gonna get this sector to grow outside of just what it is. And I think this is a good start to be in a positive, uplifting way to encourage our people. I thank all of you for coming. And I just want to let everyone know before I go ahead and end the live that there is help if you need help. By all means, the banner that you see going across the screen, it is the number to the National Domestic Hotline. They do serve 50 states, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. If you feel you need help and you're ready to start, you can email me. It's please look at my description. You can email me and we will find you some help. We could do I do what's in my power to do. We will help
Mm-hmm.
you here. I want y'all to love yourselves. I want y'all to grab a whole look at yourself in the mirror tonight and just say, I look good. Just tell yourself that. Start there. I just start there. I got pretty eyes. I like my nose. I got all my teeth and my smile's good. And they white. Just start
You
there. Just
smart.
start
You
somewhere.
good.
But I'm going to go ahead and end my life. Thank you, Stargate. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you, Vita V. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you, Stargate. Thank you, Vita. Take care. Good night.
Oh,
Good
good night.
night.
All right, Stargate. I'm going to go ahead and go. I will see you guys later. Thank you guys again. Thank you also for those that cash app. I appreciate that. My cash is also in the description or across the screen, the little bubble. But thank you, and I will see you guys on the first week of August for the autoimmune panel that we're having. Um, we have people coming that have Graves' disease or thyroid disease, lupus. We have fibromyalgia, and we are going to get into that. in 2 weeks. So I will see you guys later. Thank you guys for coming. You have a good night.